going to be talking about multi-hyphenates, multi-potentialites, people who have way too much in their minds that they want to accomplish and don't know where to start or how to start, or maybe you have very little experience or some experience and just want to sharpen up. Let's dive into it. Part one, creative alchemy, or what is passion stacking? I think there's three types of people in the world. Feel free to disagree if you want. There are people who know a lot about a particular thing. I like to call those people specialists. I like them. There are people who know an average amount about an average amount of things. I call those regular people. I like them too. Then you have the people who are more like me, who would like to know at least a very little about a lot of things, right? I've dubbed us the Swiss Army knives of the world because while we might not be the biggest blade, we have something that's sharp and we will utilize our use. After I noticed I fell into the latter category, I used to think I was kind of weird because I didn't know what I wanted to be as an adult. This occurred way back when I was a teenager. I didn't know what I wanted to be into adulthood. It wasn't from lack of any kind. It's just that I wanted to be everything all the time at once. I wanted to be an astronaut so I can get the views from space. I wanted to see if I could, go through the intensive training that they have to go through to be able to float around in zero G. You have to go through all of this pressure to get up to this weightless mode. I thought that was poetic. I wanted to be an artist. I wanted to depict the plight of the human soul. I wanted to connect with people as soon as they saw my images. I wanted to make people cry just from looking at like reds and blues smeared together. Like, I'm feeling. I wanted to be a chef so I could feed people. It's crazy that we're in 2022 and we still have all of these hunger issues when we know so much and have so much technology. That's neither here nor there. This is silly. I even had a phase where I swore I could be Buzz Lightyear. Here, I'll show you. Don't worry. It'll make sense. Let's share a screen. Boop. Boop. Boop.
Desire to impact culture. And we began with a partnership with the Dallas Theater Center in 2005. And at those first events, we had a live band, we had a live artist, Starbucks coffee, and a microphone for young people to read.
This is my mentor, Will Ritchie. I met him when I was 14. I was a freshman in high school. He immediately took me under his wing and threw me directly into the pits, which is just putting me on stage in front of everything that made me uncomfortable, be it adults, be it my own peers. I was just not there for it. However, something significant happened in 2013, a little while after I had left school, and I started to kind of get my legs under me. And this is what occurred.
And we drew people from throughout the Metroplex. And what began as a mere event turned into a movement. And now, through a partnership with Big Thought, we have workshops, we have assemblies, and we have speaking presentations that we do throughout middle schools and high schools, and yet still reach down into elementary schools and colleges as well. Because now our movement has gone forward. The events take place at an incredible facility called Life in Deep Ellum, a cultural center. We partner with Art Love Magic, who brings out live artists to do interactive workshops for whoever are there, your youth or you yourselves. And we have DJs, we have music, and we have an incredible experience. And what happens is our workshops feed into those experiences. And so school children are bussed in, they come in 15-passenger vans, whatever it takes to get them there. Because we have this desire, this emotional ambition to do what we can to increase and edify emotional literacy.
The term emotional literacy, right? Actually, I think he should explain it.
For emotional literacy is the bridge between degrees and the streets. It's the bridge between academics and pop culture, and we know that it's the bridge between introverts and empowering their silence to come out into their voice as performers do, and extroverts as well. And Diverse Knowledge is a place through over this last decade where we've created a fabric And in that fabric, we find that the mentors actually become mentored by the youth. And the youth find out that they are empowered, because from where many of these youth come from, they don't have the guidance, or maybe not even have the voice. And I'm talking come from North Dallas and South Dallas, the voice of the youth to empower all of us. And yes, you hear about subjects such as war, such as family discord, such as heartbreak. But at the same time, you hear pieces about cowboys, Cheetos, and even superheroes. Like Buzz Lightyear. 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 Yo, growing up, my favorite superhero, because the style was kind of different, but I rock mine like a G though. But everybody I know considered me as a zero, and finding friends was kind of similar to finding Nemo. Just me, a backpack, a couple of snacks, and then something that happened. I mixed my action with my passion and started party crashing, cabbage patching, and laughing and doing what made me happy. A couple of queens want to choose him because he's cool and classy, but still to get down and dirty just to save the world. And to run through freeway traffic just to save a pretty girl. And now I got the coolest friends, and yeah, we go through ups and downs, but in the end, they stuck around through thick and thin and held it down, and really it's just me and them. We're out making a ruckus, just a couple kids wanting to do it way bigger than big. So now I use my common sense to make this whole world move. I'm just doing what I do, and I think it's pretty cool, like Buzz Lightyear.
Once I finally broke out of my little shy introverted shell, I started doing something that was kind of prolific to my community. It wasn't causing any destruction. It wasn't causing anyone any harm. It was actually bringing a bit of alleviation to the pressures that me and my friends felt day to day. And all I was doing was just telling the truth. Let me get back on subject before I go off on a tangent. I was raised in the 90s. It was a ripe time for experimentation with multimedia and a cross-pollination of ideas, cultures, and types of people. I was influenced heavily by programs like Nickelodeon, MTV, and PBS. To this day, I still sing all praises to Mr. Rogers. From the 90s into the 2000s, along with the myriad of technological advancements and sheer audacity of people that just dared to do different by different means, I started to notice a particular trend. My favorite things all involve some level of sound or design, as in the building of something tangible, something physical, when audio wouldn't suffice for me. I started to narrow my wide gaze down into a very slim scope of things that I felt resonate with me the most. The arts, technology, architecture, and different kinds of fashion. Fast forward to August, wait, what is today? August 4th? Yeah, August 4th, 2022. I'm a music producer, screenwriter, songwriter, performer, director, editor, and poet who skateboards on his off days. You want to see something I shot myself? It makes me really happy. I'll play it and I hope you like it too. Share screen. Share. Share. Ooh.
Take a sip of my elixir and lean back in my seat a bit. A young king just scoping out the scenery. I can see the light over the horizon, but if the grass is green, I ain't seen it yet. It's cool, man. My grass green too, shit. I'm blowing on the finest caddy. I just wanna find the balance. I just wanna channel myself. It's kinda hard with all of the static. Lately I feel everybody's trying to get a piece of me, so I fly off the handle, then take it back immediately. Cause I live in a world where nothing's ever what it seems to be. Plus I've been in my backyard, pondering on life and what it means to me. Looking at the sunrise, feeling like a house cat, basking in the sunshine, straight on the outside. Problems on the inside, but inside is learning how to deal with it in time. My, how I spend my days now. Ooh la la, look how far we came now. Been through the mud on the darkest days now. Swam through hell, then he came back up. Yeah. Blowing on the finest Cali. I just wanna find the balance. I just wanna channel myself. It's kinda hard, but all of the steady.
Ew, it's about to get a little gross because I got to talk about my feelings. It was last year now. September of 2021, I lost my grandfather. My mom was heavily affected by that. 3 months after that, I lost my grandmother. My mother was also affected by that. I felt, although I'd been doing these things, although I'd been trying to accomplish these tasks, that I could see progress, but it didn't feel like progress. A lot of the times I would beat myself up over not doing the rational, go down this one path type of life, but I knew I couldn't do it. I dropped out of art school twice because of it. I've quit many a job because of it. That video was completely shot, edited, conceptualized by me. It was an idea that came from me seeing a couch on the corner in Oakland, California. It's not my first music video, but it was the first time I felt like I could actually do it. And my grandmother never got to see it. And it hurt, but it also kind of lit a fire that's like, you have to utilize the time that you're given, the resources and things that you've been given while you still have them. All right. Multi-potentialite is a person who is adept in different disciplines, a person who can pick things up easily, or at least with some level of proficiency that makes them comfortable and demonstrating it for someone or something else. Passion stacking. Passion stacking is taking those multiple interests to create a new avenue or unfamiliar venture. In my opinion, the best examples of this are film and really well thought out restaurants, actually. I was taught this little bit of psychology by a guy named Linworth McIntosh. He has a clothing company called Fresh Coffee, and he does photography as Shutterbugs87. He said that you have to engage all 5 senses: taste, touch, sound, sight, smell. As many times as you possibly can, every chance that you get. The more you engage all 5 of those senses, the more you're likely to create an experience for someone. The thing about experiences and moments, people will be happy about a moment, but they will forever hold on and cherish experiences. They can be bad experiences. People will hold on to them for dear life. They could be great, positive, happy experiences. People will hold on to them for dear life. You can present those experiences in the form of clothing, food, art, literally anything you want to. But if it engages those senses, it's going to reside a little deeper with people. It's the reason why NFTs are even a thing. You can't eat them, you can't touch them, but everybody's going crazy for them. It's the reason companies like Red Bull are considered edgy and super cutting edge, innovative. It's the reason why I can go from South Dallas, Texas to being on tour with well-renowned artists like Erykah Badu and Flying Lotus. And God willing, there's a film we've been working on. Hopefully you get to see it soon. As opposed to talking more about me, which I'm kind of terrible at. Let's talk about David Bowie, one of my personal favorite disruptors of the calm. David Robert Jones, known universally as David Bowie, was born January 8, 1947. He is a British singer, songwriter, actor, and proclaimed by many to be one of the most influential figures of the 20th century. Here's one of my favorite quirky interviews with him. Screen. Desktop. I don't know where to go. My bad. Sorry, everyone. Bowie, 1973.
A number of people wrote in to comment about it. I asked him on the show, what did David Bowie think about David Bowie?
Well, all right. I find that I'm a person who can take on the guises of different people that I meet. I can switch accents in seconds of meeting somebody, and I can adopt their accent. I've always found that I collect. I'm a collector. And I've always just seemed to collect personalities, ideas. I have a hodgepodge philosophy, which really is very minimal. Very little of it is my... What?
Do you believe in God?
I believe in an energy form. I'm not. I wouldn't like to put a name to it.
Do you indulge in any form of worship?
Life. I love life very much indeed.
We're not seeing your screen.
People down the middle, don't you, a lot? That is to say that people are hostile to you, or they're totally indifferent.
Oh, absolutely.
What was that?
We're not seeing your screen.
We're only getting the
wow.
audio.
Sorry. Share screen. So, yeah, boy. Can you see the guy?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Before, David was looking very glamorous. I'm sure you noticed just the one earring that he was wearing. And that startled quite a lot of people who watched the program. And a number of people wrote in to comment about it. I asked him on the show, what did David Bowie think about David Bowie?
Well, all right. I find that I'm a person who can take on the guises of different people that I meet. I can switch accents in seconds of meeting somebody, and I can adopt their accent. I've always found that I collect. I'm a collector. And I've always just seemed to collect personalities, ideas. I have a hodgepodge philosophy, which really is very minimal. Very little of it is my...
What? Do you believe in God?
I believe in an energy form. I'm not. I wouldn't like to put a name to it.
Do you indulge in any form of worship?
Life. I love life very much indeed.
I think it's safe to say one of the things that makes David Bowie so appealing is his ability to step into these grandiose visions and these personas and do these things with our imagination that we may not have really conceived before. Like, what is a Ziggy Stardust really? Like, spiders from Mars? Come on. Do you know how many songs David Robert Jones released before he became known as David Bowie? It's 13. David Bowie released 13 singles before he attempted something different because the music itself wasn't sticking. It's not his fault. A lot of artists that were seeking a limelight at that time sought out very formulaic song structures and formats. And the music industry is formulaic. They want hit after hit. Everybody wants to make a hit. You invest in something, you want your money back, you know? I personally think somebody outside of his musical circle recommended that he tries his hand at theater, where he would go on to do pretty well in theater and would also adopt some of the wardrobe from theater to inspire his own fashion tastes and designs. And he would go on to evolve into the David Bowie that we love, cherish, and revere today. It's also very amazing because in this transformation, we can see ourselves in bits and pieces of his art. Like, although I can't fully relate to spiders on Mars, I can definitely relate to a Ziggy Stardust who's just trying to keep his wig screwed down without his wig flipping and just wants to play his guitar and sit peacefully. My point is this. Once David Bowie realized he had a particular vision he was trying to display to us, he utilized the best of two worlds, the music world and the theater world. Not only opened up his potential, it opened up the world to a completely different experience. It gave us the chance to go on this weird journey with this weird fella. And even though it might have felt awkward at that time, it was really cool. being a multi-hyphenate is kind of that invitation to a world where you don't have to feel guilty about giving yourself to only one facet that you enjoy. It's like peanut butter and jelly. It's like bacon and eggs. It's like burger and fries. For my next example, I want to talk about one of my personal favorite people. I know I said David Bowie was like a personal favorite, but he's in like this section. This guy's like over here, like really close to my chest. His name is Donald Glover. Some of you may have heard of him. He's an American writer, actor, musician, comedian, producer, and director. He also performs under the moniker Childish Gambino. He releases his music and a bunch of other content under that moniker too. I think that's a lot of activity. So yeah, let's see what this Glover guy's got going.
Hey Google, what's this song?
No, I already got it loaded up. We don't need to do that. So I go screen share. Screen share. This one, yes. I wish there was like one button I can push to just share screen.
Every part of the museum. What the hell is this? This is my father.
In 1988, Amiri Baraka writes about Black author Henry Dumas. Dumas's power lay in his skill at creating an entirely different world organically connected to this one. The stories are fables. A mythological presence pervades. They are morality tales, magical, resonating dream emotions and images.
This is a symptom of the way things are.
Shifting, ambiguous terror, mystery, implied revelation. But they are also stories of real life, now or whenever. Constructed in weirdness and poetry. To Dumas's work, Baraka applied the term Afro-Surreal Expressionism.
Hello?
So I'm off. Donald Glover's Atlanta is about a place, a world where something feels unreal. The characters see it, they know it, and you can feel it too.
This place feels weird to you, right?
Things are weird. Something is off. Something isn't right. What is it?
Is this real?
No. No, it is not.
Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. Donald Glover became one of my favorite people after I saw a video that he did called This is America. If you ever have a bit of downtime, feel free to type that in on YouTube and check it out. It's a very interesting political piece, and I could do a whole dissertation on that and Afro-Surrealism right now, but I don't have the time for it. I'll just give you some more background on Donald. Mr. Glover graduated from New York University with a degree in dramatic writing in 2006 and began writing for NBC's 30 Rock. From there, he would go on to star in the 2009 hit TV show Community, where he began to build up his comedic chops alongside Chevy Chase. After Community and a few viral clips online, Glover would go on to try his hand at music, releasing one body of work specifically that would catapult him into a different stratosphere. After a successful special on Comedy Central in March of 2011, Glover, under the moniker Childish Gambino, released Camp the same year, garnering a very niche pocket of listeners who were intrigued by his comedic lyrical stylings and sometimes pulsating, sometimes disoriented, always moody instrumentals. He would often interject these harsh moments of reality as a means of grounding the listener before the next song begins, dabbling in Afro-Surrealism. Eventually, he would go on to do a screenplay called Clapping for the Wrong Reasons, which was actually tied into an album called Because the Internet. We've all heard of a movie having a soundtrack. It's a little different when you've had the album for a while. You release the film, people have heard the album, but never once decided to put the album with the film and get the whole vision. I found that to be really unique, and that was another thing that stuck out with me with him. He would go on to write a 5-time Grammy-nominated album, Awaken My Love. He would take home Best Song of the Year, all while directing, producing, and starring in this series, Atlanta. And then stars Lando Calrissian in Solo, a Star Wars story. Like he did it all really fast. Like from 2009 to 2022, he's done an incredible amount. And everything he's done somehow manages to feel different from what he's done before. He's very good at putting things in a specific category and letting those categories be. And I really appreciate about his artistry. But if I had to break it down, I would say, he's a nerdy kid that capitalized on his sense of humor by taking a risk in a few niche fields. And that's what it was. The way he did it was super smart. He used the internet coupled with his real world college experiences and the interactions to create a unique path for himself. He took his learnings from NBC and being on the sets of these groundbreaking projects and incorporated all of that into his own personal practices and made something for himself out of that. His father was a postal worker, and I believe his mother was a daycare owner. He has since dabbled in technology and created concerts with coded locations. He's super comfortable doing it different, and that's amazing to me. The two things that come to mind every time he does something are how and why. How and why. Practicality and reason. I cannot speak for any other artist outside of myself, but a large majority of everything I do simply stems from me not wanting to get bored. I don't know what age I was, but at some point I realized if I'm bored, I'm using my time very wrong. I am mismanaging my resources. I am misallocating my energy if I am actually bored. There's too much availability, too much access to literally anything. Any tutorial I want, I could type it into a phone. I could ask a friend. It's too much availability to ever be bored. So I started using boredom as kind of my imaginary enemy and my fuel to get stuff done. If you find yourself bored, you're doing something wrong. With that said, I'm going to make y'all get active because I hope you're not bored. I just need y'all to do me a quick favor. Just take like 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes tops. Think of 5 things that you enjoy or 5 things that you feel you're good at. And I want you to write those things down. And after you write those things down, we're going to talk more about those things. And we're going to see if we can make something make sense for you in case you want to try something different. All right. So let's give that like 2 minutes. I'll get started on my list too. Oh, and Tyler, you're absolutely right. That's Oakland, California. Yeah. More particularly 10th and Wood, if you know where that's at.
I do.
I love it. Lower bottoms. Woo! Oh, yeah, I'm supposed to be typing. The DJ in me wants to play background music, but I don't know if I'm supposed to.
You can do whatever you want.
Nice. I'll see if I can find something appropriate for brain thinking stuffs. give it like 1 more minute, and then we'll just let it be.
Maybe I'll never know your name. Still I'm filled with fascination. And as the platform falls away, I wonder where we'll go. Maybe you like coffee with a cigarette.
Cool.
In the morning as you watch the sunrise.
Cool. So we should be in a nice place, I would think, right? The list I got going here. Hi, I am Tommy Simpson, and this is my presentation. My number 1 is poetry, because that's literally my existence, especially right now. I just sit and write down words forever, all day, and I have no problem with it. The second thing I believe I'm good at is performance. I enjoy performing on screen. I perform on stage, and I get a rush out of both of those. I've been doing both of those things, poetry and performance, for over 15 years. If I don't got it by now, I should probably move on to the next thing. Third thing I think I'm pretty decent at is brainstorming and conceptualizing, especially when it comes to merchandise, video ideas, and album concepts. Those are 3 things that I will literally sit down for days and days and sketch and write and throw away, sketch and write until I get it down, till it's nailed down pat. I love it. Fourth thing I believe I'm good at is critical analysis and review, because I am my own worst critic. I know it. So if I make something I like, I assume it's going to work. Most of the time, it works. It applies to products, projects, and services. And the fifth thing I believe I'm good at is the production of sound. On top of doing all of this stuff, I took the time to sit down and just started learning instruments. I ended up picking up 4 instruments. I enjoy sound design and Foley work from all of my film friends. And of course, you have the human voice, which is capable of so much. A lot of my art stems from asking questions about myself, about the world that I've been brought up in, and about things that I don't know yet. A large part of learning is knowing what questions to ask or what things are so you can ask about them. A lot of times I like to present people who are engaged with me to just kind of imagine and just think outside of the box for a minute, think the untraditional thought. Everybody wants a break from reality, but what if you can deal with reality in a kind of metaphysical way? One of my favorite questions I've asked is, if the sky falls, how heavy do you think heaven would be? And I love the look that people give me whenever I ask that question. They're like, wait, what'd you say? If the sky falls, how heavy do you think that heaven would be? Somebody said, hey, you should turn that into a visual piece. And I said, you know what? I think I will. Let's check it out. It'll be fun. We go home. There we go. Screen share.
If the sky falls, how heavy do you think heaven would be? Could we build a rate of an hour? Do you believe that we clearly be able to see the stars? Maybe hug the lovers I've lost. Could the pressure press my demons deep down back into the core of the earth? Would a new university love make this life better or worse? My head is in the clouds, but I've been taking notes. If the sky falls,
I really enjoy the awkward thought, the thing that makes people, it just scratches that one part of your brain. It doesn't have to take very long, of course. It's a minute and 10 seconds, but it's that feeling of connection. I believe multi-hyphenates shine in it because we have to go to these different worlds to feel these different feelings, to feel these different requirements, these different needs. So over time, you start to kind of adapt and you start to absorb some of what you're given. And it helps you journey into the next realm, the next world, next venture for yourself. Yeah. First observation back when I first started editing videos was the similarities between my music programs and my video making stuff, my video making softwares, my Final Cuts and my FL Studios. They had a similar layout as I did more music and dove deeper into film. That bold line started to thin out a bit. And you start to notice that these little bits of software, these performances, all of this stuff kind of applies the same energy. It's all in a different field, right? It's a different layout. Maybe we have some people who do film in this room. In film, you lay out your raw footage, you add your effects, you add your transitions. Maybe we have some musicians in the room. In music, you lay out your chord progressions, you lay out your notes, you lay out your ideas, you add your transitions, and you polish it. These things are polished the same way. They sometimes avert the same types of energy. And a key to being a multi-hyphenate is finding these moments when these things cross over into each other, when these worlds overlap. It definitely helps you kind of hash out what you want to get done. For example, interior design and cooking can all take place inside of a building. If you wanted to cook or do interior design, you have access to a space, right? Very simple, very confined. You don't have to do a lot. In the movie world, in the studio recording world, sometimes you will have to be on location. A lot of the time you can, oh no, unplug that. A lot of the time you're in a confined space, such as a studio lot or a set, movie set, or a recording studio or a specific set of some kind. And you'll see people with sound things, visual things. These fields often overlap. It's all in how deep you want to get into these things. Every film has to be edited. Most films need sound. A lot of films rely on sound design. That leaves a lot of room for musicians, a lot of room for composers, a lot of room for Foley artists. Once the music is done, people usually like visuals to go with their music, be it abstract or be it actual human photography, slideshow, it doesn't really matter. Once the idea is out, people want to see what the idea actually looks like while they hear it. These worlds naturally overlapped for me. I happened to be a poet who picked up a guitar one day and ended up on the camera. It was really fun. It was really cool. I will save you some money. I will say the keys are self-confidence, finding overlapping themes, and organizing these things. Believe in yourself when you think that you're crazy. You have to believe even more in yourself when you think you're going crazy. Keep searching for intriguing ways to fuse ideas. You don't have to be edgy. You don't have to be super clever. You just have to help people get to that aha moment. Like when they're driving home, did they understand it? Or do they talk about it once they're at home? Do they reflect on it the day after and go, wow, I get it now. Like, whoa, that's crazy. Those revelations and aha moments are the reason we do what we do. They are the fuel. It's that sense of connecting. It's that sense of ascension, like, yes. A large part of what I do is also acknowledging what I'm trash at. And I will not discuss my trash because we're not here to discuss trash. We're here to discuss awesome things. But you have to acknowledge what you are weak at, and you have to either dedicate time to get better at it, or you have to delegate those opportunities and those things to other people. The name of the game is really efficiency and accountability. You hold yourself accountable, and you aim to make everything operate as efficiently as you can. If you're the person producing ideas, you want to organize those ideas to make them flow. You want them streamlined. You want them to be easily communicable to people. You want to be able to articulate. For my last example, I'd like to look at one America Young. If you don't know who she is, you're about to learn something really cool. Don't worry, after this, I got one last screen share and we're out. Here we go. Here. Barbie.
Okay, take 6. T-pose and roll, take 6.
So I recently heard about this thing called the dream gap. It's the idea that girls between the ages of 6 and 7 start to doubt themselves and how smart they are. And that means that some girls then will dream less big as they go out into the world.
Meet Barbie. America Young looks nothing like the blonde-haired, blue-eyed fashion doll, but she's the actress Mattel picked to bring its pre-feminist icon onto the internet.
What was your first reaction to hearing that Barbie would potentially have a vlog?
You know, at first, I kind of rolled my eyes a little because, first of all, I didn't know how they were going to do that.
Sure.
First of all. But second of all, I didn't know what the intention behind it was, you know, and I think it's, now that I'm looking at it retrospectively, it's brilliant because it's the best way to connect.
Barbie's one of the world's best-known toys. She's also, depending on your view, an independent jet setter whose boyfriend is just an oversized accessory, or an embodiment of the worst myths about the female form. Modern consumers seem to agree with the last part. Sales dropped 20% from 2012 to 2014, prompting Mattel to roll out a Benetton ad's worth of new Barbies in 2016, and hire America for a vlog that tackles bullying, female empowerment, and even depression for 5 million YouTube subscribers.
But sometimes I still feel blue. And then I feel guilty about feeling sad because I am supposed to be the upbeat, positive one all the time.
Barbie is definitely more relatable, but her ideology is as carefully molded as her plastic.
So what is she gonna wear on her hair?
So, America Young is an actor. She is a stunt woman. She is the founder of her own organization known as the Chimera Project, which is a nonprofit that helps women get opportunities in the world of film and media. 2020, she was awarded the Humanitarian Award. I like anybody that does their own stunts. I like Jackie Chan, I like Jason Statham, I like Keanu Reeves, I like all this. But America Young comes on the scene and she does this. And I'm like, you are not only fulfilling what I absolutely love, you're also helping the mental states of people. And that's what we go for. I would hope that something I've said, I'm aware we're running out of time. I would hope that something I've said sticks with you, maybe inspires you to look something up. Check out a David Bowie, America Young, or Donald Glover, or sit with your own list and check out what you got going and just tap in with yourself. Learn more about yourself every time you write these things down. Who knows, today you're good at this, maybe tomorrow you'll be good at that. And it's not bad that you want something different when you want something different. We all have our things. We're not here to stay the same. That's why we grow. We literally get taller. Our hair changes color. We do different things. Our friend circles change. A lot of the time, we don't have to stay in those same bubbles. If you enjoy it, please thrive there. I absolutely adore that for you. Me and myself, I tried colleges. I didn't find that institutionalized learning was working well for me. I felt more hands-on about my experiences. I'm more of a kinesthetic learner, and I realized that. The faster you realize what kind of learner you are, the sooner you can tap in, and overall, I believe the happier you'll be.